Moving on to our next panel discussion, we have challenges and opportunities to indigenous languages of Sindh in the AI era. Our moderator for this panel discussion is Mr. 𝗖𝗍𝗂 𝗍𝗃 from SZABIST University. I now call Dr. 𝗍𝗱𝗚𝗹𝗿𝗲𝗍. Okay, so our moderator for this panel discussion is Mr. 𝗬𝗍𝗂𝗋, Research Associate, Sindh Abias Academy.
Hello everyone, please you all are requested to be seated.
Everyone, please be seated. All students, please settle down. We are beginning with our next panel discussion.
Thank you, ma'am.
I would now like to call up on stage Dr. 𝗍𝗱𝗚𝗃, Chairman, Department of Computer Science and Information Technology at 𝗏𝗍 Bhutto Shaheed University, Dr. 𝗘𝗱𝘂 𝗏𝗻𝗃, Senior NLP Scientist at Alexa Translations, Dr. 𝗿𝗏𝗿𝗃 𝗚𝗹, Writer, and Dr. 𝗫𝗍𝗂 𝗏𝗃, Write and Educationist.
Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Amin and I am a representative and research associate of Sindh Abias Academy in Social Science Department, SZABIST University. So, as and on behalf of my department, I welcome you all in this third global conference on research in education and social science. Before coming on today's topic, which is challenges and opportunities to indigenous languages in AI era, I want to let you know about the Sindh Studies Center or Sindh Abias Academy. Sindh Abias Academy's vision is to facilitate students, researchers, and individuals who really want to study or research on all aspects of Sindh. So I'll welcome you all who has interest in Sindhi since each and every subject. While Sindh Abias Academy's mission is to constantly impart all the interested scholars and knowledge seekers about the physical, cultural, and spiritual heritage of Sindh. We have more than 4,000 books and manuscripts in our Sindh Abias Academy, and this is the brochure of our academy. If anybody will come, I'll welcome you along with my experience and expertise. So now we are beginning our interesting and informative session, which is the challenges and opportunities to indigenous languages of Sindh in artificial intelligence era. So first of all, on my left, we have Dr. 𝗍𝗱𝗚𝗃. He is accomplished academic and researcher specializing in the machine learning, natural language processing, which is NLP, and computational linguistics. He currently serves as a chairman and associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Informational Technology at 𝗏𝗍 Bhutto Shaheed University in Lyari. Please welcome him with your clappings. And then we have Dr. 𝗘𝗱𝘂 𝗏𝗻𝗃, who is Senior NLP, National Language Processing Scientist at Alexa Translations. He received his PhD degree from University of Constance, Germany in 2009 with over 25 years combining teaching, research, and development experience. His expertise spans various areas in natural language processing. Please welcome him with your clappings. Then we have our third and last panelist, Dr. 𝗿𝗏𝗿𝗃 𝗚𝗹. He is intellectual, linguistic, researcher, and scholar specializing in Sindhi language and literature. Dr. 𝗚𝗏 has made significant contributions to the promotion and preservation of Sindhi language. His work includes research and publications, and Dr. 𝗚𝗏 has written and edited numerous books, research papers, and articles on Sindhi language, literature, linguistic, and language documentation. He has also worked on documenting Sindhi language, dialects, vocabulary, and grammar. Since last 4 decades, he is working in this field. Please welcome him. So, I would like to ask a first question from Dr. 𝗍𝗱𝗚𝗃 about the strengths of indigenous languages of Sindh. Please shall elaborate with some examples.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Amin, and I'm thankful to organizers of this conference as well as management of the ZABIST for inviting me to participate as a panelist in a very important discussion. So, before knowing the strength of indigenous languages, we must know what are the indigenous languages. Indigenous languages are languages which are spoken by the native people of some specific region or area, and having a deep or a rich culture and historical status. So these languages are very much significant for societies, for land, for the nations, because language is not only the way of communication or not just the collection of the words. I believe language is the soul of the culture. Language is the soul of the nation. Language is the identity that represents us, that who we are. So there are different what the strength is of indigenous languages. For example, if I discuss the indigenous languages of the Sindh, so I believe in Sindh, the indigenous language is Sindhi, having a rich culture, having a historical status, and a long history. This language is not spoken by the coming year or after the establishment of Pakistan, but thousands of years this language has been speaking. Means a very significant identity of the Sindhi language is Mohenjo-daro, having a 5,000 to 6,000 year history. So Sindhi is definitely strength. It is a rich culture. It's indigenous language. Its own corpus, its own script, and it's a culture, it's a land, it's the people, and as well as the identity. Sindhi have its own speakers, native speakers who speak the Sindhi, not only in the Sindh, but all over the globe. The Sindhi diaspora you may find in Canada, and Europe, America, and a large number of the Sindhis are in India after the partition of the Hindustan and Sindh. So, therefore, this language has lots of strength, as I told you. It's its own language, and it's speaking, and also in a written form, in oral form. So thousands of books are written in the Sindhi language, and so thousands of readers. Sindhi has magazines, newspapers, and even now in the age of the technology, it has digital resources as well. So in the oral form, you may find videos and audios, and even the blogs. In the digital form, you may find the Sindhi. So I think these are the strength of the Sindhi language that make it indigenous and digital language of this age, is the age of the artificial intelligence. We are transforming from the traditional life to the digital life, and now we are transforming to artificial age that definitely will lead us to a very developed world. And I believe languages having digital resources will survive in this age, or languages having a digital strength will survive in this digital age.
Thank you, sir. Now moving towards Dr. Tafsir Ahmed. Sir, what do you say? Are you agreed with the thoughts of Dr. Mazhar Ali? And are these indigenous languages strengthened enough? What do you say?
Yeah, so I agree with him. The case of Sindhi is very strong in perspective of the other Pakistani languages, that it has a tradition of usage as a official language, and we have newspapers and books in Sindhi, as well as the topic is language and AI. Now another good factor is that AI has matured enough that we can implement things using AI. Just 25 years ago, when I started working on language processing, it was not the case. It was not the case for major languages, apart from English, French, Russian, these big names. It was very difficult. But now the time has come that we can implement language processing and language-based applications using AI. And now, because one of the problem with the languages is that information is in English or is in some other language, and it is very difficult to get, and if you have to know the knowledge, you want to have the knowledge, or you have to survive in the modern world, you have to learn that language. Now, applications are possible, even they are available. If I compare 3 years, not 25 years ago, if I compare to what was available 3 years ago, now we have many things. So that is also a strength that our tradition, rich tradition is available, and a technology is available that can help us to propagate the language and the usage of language.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Now I'm coming towards Dr. 𝗿𝗱 𝗚𝗏. Sir, kindly let us know that क्या आप समझते हैं कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के इस दौर में सर्वाइव करना हमारी लैंग्वेज के लिए पॉसिबल है? अगर है तो कैसे, किस तरह से सर्वाइव कर सकती है हमारी लैंग्वेज?
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. I am Dr. 𝗿𝗱 𝗚𝗏, Chairman, Peacock Printers, student of language, linguistics, phonetics, grammar, 𝗙 history of Sindh, etc. I feel proud to be here with young scholars of SZABIST. अब आओ उर्दू में बात करते हैं. ज़रा दिल थाम के बैठना, मुझे कुछ ऐसी बातें करनी है. मेरी दिली ख्वाहिश थी कि पहले मैं बोलूं और बाद में हमारे सीनियर और माहिर लिसानियात और फोनेटिक्स सौतियात वो बात करते तो अच्छा खासा एक संगम बन जाता. सर, इट्स माय ऑनेस्ट ओपिनियन कि अब सबसे बड़ा ख़तरा जो है वो उर्दू को है. लेट इट बी वेरी क्लियर. कोई आएगा तो उनसे हम बहस भी करेंगे, डॉक्टर साहब भी होंगे. सबसे बहुत बड़ा मसला अब उर्दू का है. क्यों? कि आप देखें तो सही, ऑब्ज़र्व तो करें. हम अपनी ज़ाती ज़िंदगी, ज़ाती मसरूफ़ियात, ज़ाती काम काज में इतने मगन हो गए हैं कि हम पीछे मुड़कर देखते भी नहीं हैं कि क्या हो रहा है, कोई क्या बोल रहा है. ग्रामर की तो सत्यानाश की हुई है. ग्रामर पे तो डॉक्टर साहब बोलेंगे. मुझे इंतहाई गुजारिश से मैं एक गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ, मौदूआना गुजारिश है और मेरा चैलेंज भी है. सही माना में उर्दू की तो ग्रामर ही नहीं है. अभी डॉक्टर साहब इस पे रोशनी डालेंगे. आधा ग्रामर तो अरबी पे बेस करता है, आधा ग्रामर तो फ़ारसी पे बेस करता है, चंद चीज़ें हिंदी की हैं. उर्दू ज़बान की जो नफासत है, उसका जो पैटर्न है, उसका जो स्ट्राव है, रचना है, उस पर किसी ने काम ही नहीं किया. ये लफ्ज़ इसके बाद क्यों आना चाहिए, क्यों कर आना चाहिए, ये इस पर ही नहीं किया. जो है मोन्स मुज़क्कर तो आपको भी मालूम नहीं है, हमें मालूम नहीं है. रोट अच्छी है, अच्छा है, दही बहुत है, दही जो है मुनस है, मुज़क्कर है, सो ऑन मैनी। ट्रांसपोर्ट चल रहा है, चल रही है। अच्छा, और दूसरा ये जो हमारे जो मॉडर्न एज है वो अपने शोशा के उसमें आकर जो आप देखें टेलीविज़न पे जो डिस्कशन होती हैं वो क्या होता है? Aflan market में we will meet and get Noorin with us and we will have a cup of tea at Golf Club. You must be here. Maybe Ambreen is coming and we will have a discuss on the social problem. अरे यार तुम आ जाना ना, बस मैं कह रहा हूँ ड्रॉप की प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं है, वो भी नहीं है, चलो ओके, और वी विल हैव अ डिनर ओवर देयर। ये उर्दू है? अगर ये उर्दू है तो फिर वो उर्दू कौन सी है? सत्यानाश किया हुआ है, कोई कहने वाला नहीं है। डॉक्टर साहब, मैं अदब मदबाना गुजारिश करूँगा, कोई कानून नहीं है, कोई उन पर सुपरविजन करने वाला नहीं है। कोई ज़माना था जब जंग में और इन उर्दू अखबारात में लिखते थे तो एक एक चीज़ देखी जाती थी, एडिट की जाती थी। वो ज़माना गया, वो बरसों की बात है। अब तो कोई पढ़ता ही नहीं है, अब तो कोई पढ़ता ही नहीं है। अब सारा मामला है मीडिया का, जो कुछ मीडिया कह रहा है वही हम सुन रहे हैं। और इंतहाई माजरत के साथ एक हमारे बहुत मशहूर अदीब थे अली अहमद बरोही, मज़ाह नगार भी थे, सेक्रेटरी की सतह पर भी रहे, ज़ैबिस्ट से भी किसी तरह उनका ताल्लुक़ रहा। तो वो कहते थे कि यार उर्दू की कैफियत भी जो है ना, उर्दू की नज़ाकत भी अजीब है, जितना गलत बोलो उतना मज़ा आता है। ये उनका ख्याल था, लेकिन हकीकत भी है। हमारे जो अकाबरीन हैं, हमारे जो सियासतदान हैं, वो कैसे बोल रहे हैं आप सुने तो सही। जो आता है फ़िलहाल तो कह देते हैं, एडिटिंग वाला कोई नहीं है, इस पर कोई वो जो है कदगन नहीं है, कोई मॉनिटर नहीं कर रहा है। भाई ये जो है मोन्स मुज़क्कर की तज़कीर व तानीस की जो इतनी गलतियां हो रही हैं, कौन रोकेगा इनको? आप मुझे बताएं। मेरा ताल्लुक़ इंफॉर्मेशन से भी रहा है, इंफॉर्मेशन डिपार्टमेंट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ सिंध। मैं पूरे दावे से कहता हूँ हमारे पास जो स्टैटिक्स मौजूद है कि अब सिंध में, और की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ कि वो स्टैटिक्स उसमें शामिल नहीं है, डान जंग नवाबत उम्मत इन ETC और अंग्रेज़ी का बेकाद सिंध ट्रिब्यून द न्यूज़ मिला लें, इन सब से सिंधी की रीडरशिप ज़्यादा है, दावा से कह रहा हूँ।
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Sir. Excuse me, I am coming back to you with another question.
तो मैं अभी थैंक यू, बल्कि मैं गुजारिश ये करूँगा कि ये बुनियादी सवालात हैं जिनको अभी हम कोई ख़ास अहमियत नहीं दे रहे हैं ड्यू टू मैनी रीज़न्स। तो डॉक्टर साहब इस पर रोशनी भी डालेंगे और हम यकजा होकर मुतालबा भी करेंगे। कोई मॉनिटरिंग पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए, कोई कायदे कवायद होने चाहिए, कोई तौर तरीके होने चाहिए। We should have to establish such rules and regulations. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I want to ask a question with Dr. Mazhar Ali, that what opportunities we have in this artificial intelligence era. How can we protect our indigenous languages through this artificial intelligence era? And does it support or not?
AI is in fact a very good technology that is protecting the languages. In fact, though people are afraid of the AI, they are saying AI is going to replace the human and replace the jobs and extending the languages. But AI is protecting the language, not replacing the human. Never. There is no line that we say that AI will replace the human in 2030, 40 or 50. No. And even replacing the job, but displacing the job. So there are lots of opportunity in this age of the AI. It depends on us that how much we are sincere to our languages. if we are sincere to our languages, AI will protect our languages and bring them to a at a high level. You see, now the translation is a totally automatic. So AI providing facilities to languages to be translated and a corpus. So we do have the facility that now machine learning can predict the future of the coming languages. For example, I am speaking in any language, so machine learning will help me in providing the words. So what if you are writing an email, you see, just you start a word, other words will automatically be coming to you. So such type of the, you see, opportunities in this way. More opportunities are it connect different masses or communities to your language. For example, I tell you, Stanford and Google are working on the universal dependency framework. They are collecting the corpus of different languages and they are connecting those languages with each other. When I was working on it in 2018, there were 71 languages of the world, and I tried myself to include Sindhi in that language, and Urdu was already there. So when we wrote sentence in Sindhi, it was translated into the 71 languages of the world. Now it's more than 100 languages. So it's because of the AI, because machine learning and its methods are working on the language. Moreover, social media, you see, social media is a platform that automatically create the corpus. Now that corpus enrich the languages, that corpus protect the languages, because that corpus will be used for different purposes of the AI processing, like machine learning or other intelligent systems. So that also preserve the language. So main, I think, purpose of the AI that we may get benefit from AI, that is the protection of the, especially the indigenous languages, which were under the danger position before, I think, 2010. But after 2010, if we focus our languages and write in our language and speak in our languages, that's why I think Dr. Aftab is a good, he was speaking in Urdu. We should, I think, speak in our languages. The developed countries are speaking on in their own languages. But हम क्या करते हैं? हम, I don't know why we are motivated from English. English people, they इसलिए वो English बोलते हैं, वो उनकी mother language है. If you go to Malaysia, no one ready to speak you into English. वो आपसे मलय में बात करेंगे, चाइनीज़ में बात करेंगे, फ्रेंच में बात करेंगे. हम लोग, आई डोंट नो क्यों, हम जल्दी मोटिवेटेड हो जाते हैं. शायद हमारा कोई कॉम्प्लेक्स है, इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स है, इसी वजह से शायद हम नहीं हो रहे हैं. तो एआई बेसिकली यही कह रहा है कि फोकस योर मदर लैंग्वेज. आप अपनी मदर लैंग्वेज में लिखें, पढ़ें. दिस इज द जॉब ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी टू ट्रांसलेट योर मदर लैंग्वेज टू अदर्स. अगर मैं सिंधी हूँ, मैं अगर यहाँ हिंदी में बात करूं तो एआई उसको ऑटोमेटिकली उर्दू, इंग्लिश, मलय, चाइनीज, फ्रेंच, इंग्लिश सब लैंग्वेजेस में उसको ट्रांसलेट कर देंगी. तो ये मेरे ख्याल में एक बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है एआई की, जिसको जो हमें एनेबल करती है कि भाई डोंट ट्रांसफर योर सेल्फ टू अदर लैंग्वेजेस एंड डोंट ट्रांसफर योर कल्चर एज वेल. एआई हमें इस पे भी बेनिफिशियल, इसलिए भी बेनिफिशियल है कि वो कहती है कि आप अपने जो कल्चर हैं, कस्टम्स हैं, उनमें रह के आप जो काम करें वो कल्चर ऑटोमेटिकली जो आपका है वो आपका रहेगा, जो बाकियों का रहेगा. तो दैट इज अनदर अपॉर्चुनिटी जो एआई के दौर में. एंड थर्ड ये कि वो डिजिटाइज कर रही है. मैं सब जो बात भी कर रहा हूँ एंड आई बिलीव कि वो ऑनलाइन होगी, वो बात ऑनलाइन होगी. जब वो ऑनलाइन होगी तो ऑटोमेटिक वो मेरा वर्बल कॉर्पस बनता जा रहा है, और वो जो मशीन ट्रांसलेशन में एंड हमारे टेक्स्ट अपना स्पीच में और स्पीच टू टेक्स्ट में ऑटोमेटिक ये हेल्पफुल होगी. अब हम कहते हैं कि भाई सिंधी का तो कोई भी टेक्स्ट टू स्पीच कोई सिस्टम ही नहीं, स्पीच टू टेक्स्ट कोई सिस्टम ही नहीं है, तो हाउ इट वुड बी. हम सिंधी में बात कब करते हैं? उर्दू का नहीं है, तो हाउ इट वुड बी फॉर द उर्दू. हम उर्दू में बात कब करते हैं? हम घर में भी नहीं करते हैं, ऑफिस में भी नहीं करते हैं, और इस तरह के अगर प्रोग्राम हो तो वहां भी हम फोकस करते हैं कि हम इंग्लिश में बोलें. तो वो जो विजुअल स्पीच टू टेक्स्ट और टेक्स्ट टू स्पीच के जो इस वक्त हमारी लैंग्वेजेस के लिए सिस्टम नहीं बने हैं, जो एक एआई की बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, तो दैट्स आल्सो कि हम उस अपॉर्चुनिटी को हासिल नहीं कर रहे हैं। एंड इसके अलावा जो एआई है वो अपने, जैसे अभी मैं रोबोट्स की बात करूँ, जो फ्यूचर में हम कह रहे हैं कि भाई फ्यूचर में रोबोट्स विल बी विद द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, और 2030 के बाद एक रैपिड चेंज आ रही है। दीज 5 years आर वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस। हम यहाँ कितना खुद को स्ट्रेंथन करते हैं। अगर हमने खुद को और अपनी लैंग्वेजेस को स्ट्रेंथन किया तो जो 2030 के बाद एक बड़ी चेंज आ रही है उसमें हम सर्वाइव कर पाएंगे, और वो जो मेजर अपॉर्चुनिटीज आने वाली हैं एआई की, वी विल कैच देम, वी विल एंजॉय देम।
Thank you, Dr. Saab. It was very clear point of view that Dr. Saab has shared. Now coming towards Dr. तौसीफ साहब, ये बताएं कि as you are a natural language processing engineer, first of all explain this term to your audience, and then let me know that what are the opportunities that we have through AI era.
Okay, so for natural language processing, how can we process human languages through computers? Computers are good in processing computer languages like Fortran, C, Python, but they have fixed syntax, and it is easy to process for the computer. It is easy to computer to process these things. But when we start processing languages through computers, that human language is not 100% formal things. There are many varieties. There is a concept called context-free languages, and our language is not context-free. Human languages are not context-free. So it is very difficult for computer to process human languages, or it was in a way. In the modern era, we can say that computer had succeeded to process it. So in natural language processing, we devise algorithms, methods that how we can process language using computers. So that is natural language processing. It has many ways to do it. One of the modern way, 5 years ago there was a huge transformation, and that transformers, that is a kind of neural networks that appeared, and now it is relatively easy to process natural languages through these transformers. So we have opportunity because transformers and the computation power is big enough that we can process natural languages. Now the opportunity, and what does it implies? One of the implication is that now we can use our languages on computer. Just if we go 2 years back, a person who does not know English living in Pakistan and tries to search something on Google, practically he cannot do that. He or she cannot do it. But now, अगर आज कोई आप ChatGPT डाउनलोड करें, ChatGPT, और उस पर उर्दू टेक्स्ट टू स्पीच मौजूद है, वो स्पीच रिकग्निशन मौजूद है, आप उर्दू में बात करें वो आपको उर्दू में इंफॉर्मेशन दे देगा। 2 साल पहले, 1 साल पहले भी ये पॉसिबल नहीं था। सिंधी में राइटिंग करके मैंने चेक किया है, आप अगर सिंधी लिख के सवाल करेंगे ChatGPT से, वो आप ChatGPT सिंधी में जवाब दे देगा। तो पहले जो एक बहुत बड़ा बैरियर था जिसकी वजह से हम इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल्स पे भी जाते थे और दूसरी बहुत सारी चीज़ें मजबूरन हमें करना भी पड़ती थी। इन वे बाज़ लेवल्स पर मैं एग्री करता हूँ कि हमें इंग्लिश अडॉप्ट करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड से हमें कम्युनिकेट करना है, अपने आप को मनवाना है, तो इंग्लिश इज़ द अपॉर्चुनिटी। लेकिन अगर जिसको इंग्लिश नहीं आती या एक वो मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड से बात नहीं कर रहा, वो अपने आसपास के लोगों से बात कर रहा है, अपने गांव वालों से, अपने शहर वालों से बात कर रहा है, अब उसे मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड की इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, तो वो अब इंग्लिश का पाबंद उतना नहीं रहा है। वो उर्दू में सवाल कर सकता है, उर्दू में जवाब मिल सकता है। सिंधी स्पीच रिकग्निशन हो सकता है थोड़ी सी कमज़ोर हो, लेकिन सिंधी राइटिंग करके ChatGPT से सवाल कर सकता है, सिंधी में जवाब मिल जाएगा। तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो आज अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ में हैं कि हम अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स पे भी बात कर सकते हैं कि इंग्लिश मीडियम पे जो डिपेंडेंस है मौजूद, और एक वक्त जब वो की गई थी वो सही भी थी। मैं उससे डिसएग्री नहीं करता कि आपको अगर अपना दुनिया में अपने आप को मनवाना है तो शायद आपको ये स्किल सीखनी पड़ती हैं, लेकिन वो डिपेंडेंस अब कुछ कम होगी। तो एक ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ अवेलेबल हैं। डॉक्टर साहब ने जो सवाल किए थे, डॉक्टर आफ्ताब ने, उनके कुछ चीज़ों का जवाब मैं अभी देता हूँ कुछ नेक्स्ट सवाल में। एक और जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है वो डायलेक्ट्स की है। लैंग्वेजेस पे एक होता है, एक स्टैंडर्ड लैंग्वेज है और एक उसके डायलेक्ट्स हैं। इंग्लिश के साथ भी मसला है। इंग्लिश में क्वींस इंग्लिश है, फिर आपके पास अमेरिकन इंग्लिश, ऑस्ट्रेलियन इंग्लिश, इंडियन इंग्लिश। इंडियन इंग्लिश और ऑस्ट्रेलियन इंग्लिश यूके का कोई बंदा वो नहीं समझ सकता, उनके लिए मुश्किल है। इवन लोगों ने ये स्टडी की है कि क्वीन एलिजाबेथ ने 1954 में जो स्पीच की थी और 2020 में जो स्पीच की थी, उसमें लैंग्वेज डिफरेंस आ गए हैं, सिंटैक्टिकल डिफरेंस आ गए हैं कि वक्त के साथ साथ इवन क्वींस इंग्लिश चेंज्ड। तो डायलेक्ट्स, अगर उर्दू के डायलेक्ट्स हैं, लाहौरी डायलेक्ट है, पेशावरी डायलेक्ट है, लाड़काना का डायलेक्ट है, सो हमारे पास अब अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि हम उन सब को एम्ब्रेस कर सकते हैं, बजाय इसके कि एक डायलेक्ट को इन्फोर्स करें, हम डाइवर्सिटी को एम्ब्रेस कर सकते हैं। इवन सिंधी पे जब स्पीच रिकग्निशन मैच्योर होगी तो सिंधी के मल्टीपल डायलेक्ट्स पे और स्पीच रिकग्निशन भी और लैंग्वेज रिकग्निशन भी जब होंगे तो आप उन सबको एम्ब्रेस कर सकेंगे। ये नहीं होगा कि एक डायलेक्ट सबको सीखना पड़ेगा और उस डायलेक्ट में बात नहीं करेंगे तो रिप्लाई नहीं मिलेगा या सही रिप्लाई नहीं मिलेगा। तो डायलेक्टल वेरिएशन को एम्ब्रेस करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी अब तैयार है। इंग्लिश में वो होता है, हम लोग जो पाकिस्तानी एक्सेंट में इंग्लिश बोलते हैं वो भी वो रिकग्नाइज़ कर रहा होता है, हम पाकिस्तानी इंग्लिश ग्रामर में जो लिख रहे होते हैं उसे वो भी रिकग्नाइज़ कर रहा होता है। सेम जो है ये हमारी दूसरी लैंग्वेजेस में उर्दू और सिंधी के लिए भी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी। और वही बात के बुरी और दोनों हैं, हमारे पास एक टूल आ गया है, हम डाइवर्सिटी को एक्सेप्ट भी कर सकते हैं और करेक्शन एजुकेशन में अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे पास कि हम एजुकेट भी कर सकते हैं कि बाद में बता दें कि ये स्टैंडर्ड उर्दू के हिसाब से ये चीज़ें आपकी गलत थीं, इसे आप सही कर लें। स्टैंडर्ड सिंधी के हिसाब से ये चीज़ें गलत थीं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल नॉन सिंधी स्पीकर अगर सिंधी सीखना चाहता है तो उसे एजुकेट करने में भी ये हेल्प कर सकती हैं।
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Now coming towards Dr. Aftab Abdo. Sir, what do you think that what opportunities we have in this artificial intelligence era to survive the indigenous languages? कुछ मिसाल दें आप कि क्या मौके हैं हमारे पास और कौन सी कमज़ोरियां हैं सिस्टम में जिसकी वजह से इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हो रही चीज़ें। जैसे हम और आप भी यहाँ पे इंग्लिश में बैठ के बात कर रहे हैं, तो अगर इस तरह से होगा तो फिर लैंग्वेजेस कैसे सर्वाइव करेंगी, स्पेशली उर्दू एंड सिंधी।
मेहरबानी साईं, थैंक यू वेरी मच। सर तोसी साहब फॉर योर काइंड इन्फॉर्मेशन, अब सिंधी में भी हम AI के थ्रू बोल भी सकते हैं और जवाब भी सुन सकते हैं। वी क्रॉस दिस स्टेज इजीली, वी कैन लिसन एंड टॉक टू AI इन सिंधी लैंग्वेज। मुझे डॉक्टर शेख साहब यहाँ इन चंद स्कॉलर्स में बैठ के एक नया मसला ज़हन में आ रहा है। अब इतना जो हम जोर दे रहे हैं आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंसी पे, एक तरह से हम अपने रूहानी रिश्ते, समाजी रिश्ते, दिल के रिश्ते, नाते, उनसे अलग होते जा रहे हैं। हम कितनी भी तालियां बजाएं, कितनी भी तालियां बजाएं, कितनी भी वाह करें, लेकिन कागजी फूलों से खुशबू नहीं आएगी, वैसे ही रहेंगे। अब जब हम कहते हैं कि भाई आओ, आपसे मुझे बात करनी है, आपको तो मालूम ही नहीं है मैं किस कर्ब से गुज़रा हूँ, किन हालात को भुगता हूँ, यार आओ कोई मेरे दिल की दवा तो बनो, मेरी बात सुनो। ये भाई आपका आर्टिफिशियल ये इंटेलिजेंसी काम नहीं करेगा। इसी तरह अगर सिंधी में कहें मुझे यार जानी, यार अचो तो सही कि पेर भरे त अच, मां तुंहिंजो अखियुनि सां अजय कंदुसि के ॻाल्हियूं गिराटड़ियूं पाए. I challenge you. ॻाल्हियूं गिराटड़ियूं कैन नॉट बी ट्रांसलेटेड बाय AI. ये दिल की बातें हैं. ये दिल की बात वो नहीं करेगा, वो समाजी बात करेगा. उसको जो फीड किया जाएगा उसकी फीडिंग महदूद है. हमारी ज़बान वसी है. 5000 साल से जो हम ये इसकी लगातार मुसलसल कंटिन्यूएशन में ये ज़बान बोल रहे हैं, उसमें हज़ारों लाखों एहसासात हैं, जज्बे हैं, फ़िक्र है, इदराक है, हुस्न है, बोलने का अंदाज है. आप अंदाज कहाँ से लाएंगे आर्टिफिशियल अंदाज उसमें. मैं दावे से कहता हूँ कि अगर मैं खैर उर्दू से भी मेरी अच्छी खासी वाक़फ़ियत है और काश हम उस पे बात करते.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब. अभी कुछ क्वेश्चंस ऑडियंस से आएंगे, फिर आप उस पे जवाब भी दीजिएगा. लास्ट क्वेश्चन मेरा है डॉक्टर मजहर अली से
करते हैं
कि सर, व्हाट आर द थ्रेट्स दैट लैंग्वेज हैव इन दिस आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एरा एंड व्हाट कैन वी डू टू रिजॉल्व द थ्रेट्स?
You know, in this digital era, when we are talking about the artificial intelligence, every language has threats and challenges. So, if we talk about the Pakistani languages or languages are spoken in the Sindh, we are very much limited. There is no policy for language. There is a big challenge, threat for us. There is no policy for us. Only the single Urdu and English languages are the national languages of the country. The regional languages, which are the indigenous languages, having a rich culture, rich history, native people, they are all things, but they are not on the national languages. Therefore, they can't be utilized as a national or the language of the as a spoken languages. So we are facing the lingua franca. Lingua franca is a definitely threat for the indigenous languages. They are killing. They are really in a dangerous condition because of the lingua franca. Number 3 is a definitely in this digital age, if we will not write in our own languages, we will not generate the corpus or corpora. That is also, now Sindhi is facing such type of the challenge. Even Urdu is also. We are facing such type of the challenges. We are writing in English, we are writing in other languages. We are not generating our own corpus that may be utilized for the AI languages. Dr. Tafsir Saab talked about the ChatGPT. If you look back in March 2024, Sindhi was not on ChatGPT. When we were writing Sindhi in ChatGPT, it was responding in Persian or other languages. And that time I contacted the OpenAI and I got their resource email and I uploaded hundreds of books in Sindhi language, Sindhi newspaper articles and several other things. And you got in July or August, now ChatGPT is writing in Sindhi. So if I didn't try to mitigate that challenge, definitely Sindhi was not on the ChatGPT. So such type of the challenges are there. Technology is a challenge. Digital resources are a challenge for the indigenous languages in all type of the types in the digital resources. So I think time is limited. Okay. So there are such type of the challenges which make the indigenous languages limited and putting them in some danger zone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. Let me know if anyone have one question with the panelists. Because
I want to ask a question.
Please, sir.
This is regarding the challenges of AI and modern age to the indigenous languages. The question is about that. Now, what we understand is that because you do not make an effort to learn the language, because you do not apply your mind to learn a particular language, you will never develop that expertise which AI would give you, to my mind. And Lord Mr. Abdo said that in that language you will not develop that feeling, that warmth, that AI would not give you. To my to my limited knowledge, understanding, I think that would be the danger to the indigenous language, because you will not have that love and that warmth for that language which you would otherwise achieve if you learn it by effort. AI would never let you enjoy, for example, Sindhi music. AI would never let you understand the music of Al-Ghoza. It would never let you understand the beauty of the poetry of Faiz or Ghalib. So while you will be able to converse and maybe understand, you may not develop that warmth and that love that a language should give you if you learn it with effort. That's my understanding. I have one other question about the survival of a language. You know, the language only that language would survive to our mind which has a marketability. The language which cannot give you economic benefit is going to die.
Yes.
We have, I remember we went abroad to study, and we had great facility because we knew English. And there were Arabs and other students from developing world, and they were terribly handicapped. While we had no issue in class discussion, writing papers and everything. So this is the marketability issue of the language. The language which cannot give you economic benefit is not going to die, is of no use. I have one last point. I'm not going to take much time. Gujarati language or Memni in Karachi used to be widely spoken. I remember we know that there were many Gujarati newspapers which would come out every day in Karachi. Today, I think there's only one. The Baluch population of Lyari, their children are not speaking Baluchi. They are speaking Urdu. Because Baluchi does not perhaps bring you that economic benefits. So these are two or three my thoughts. The danger to indigenous language through AI and why we are losing our original language because of low market.
Thank you. I request Dr. Tafsir Ahmed, please give a brief answer because our time is up and next session is ready. Please give a brief answer.
Yeah. So I agree with you that these are the threats, and if the languages, we have multiple languages. So if Urdu is able to cope better with the technology and the other language could not, then those language will be in danger. So it is a real threat. And I want to add one or two sentences more. That I praised that AI can do many things, but there is a problem with it that we have a consumer mindset. So what ChatGPT or DeepSeek will give to us, we will use it, but we will have very few examples like Mazhar, who tried to make a grammar for Sindhi language or part of a speech tagger for Sindhi language. So Sindhi language has its own peculiarities, and for it we need some components. We have to make some component. We need to create knowledge and introduce that to the Microsoft and Facebook and Google to integrate into that systems. So that is the most important thing, that we create data for our languages. We create grammars and the tokenization issues and many other issues. We do good quality work on these things, on grammar. We produce good quality data, and then we provide it to the tech giants, or we start doing that by ourselves to implement those things. Otherwise, on the basis of 100, if English is 100, we may reach at the point of 80. Or 85, but from 85 to 100, going from 85 to 100, we have to provide many things by ourselves. And should not act like a consumer, but act like a knowledge creator.
Thank you very much. So I would like to request our Vice President Administration, Mr. Imtiaz Qazi, to please come on the stage and give some concluding remark regarding this session. And actually, I have presented 4 questions. strengths, opportunities, weakness, and threats that I tried to make SWOT analysis. Now, please, sir. Actually, sir, time is up and second session is ready. So, please.
I think this is a very enlightening discussion. My question to you is that when we talk in terms of the indigenous language, what I have come to know is that as much data, if we are going to create, it is going to benefit and create more opportunities to us. So using this, they are trying to find it out and decipher the old Mohenjo-daro language with the use of the AI. So how are they doing it? If anybody could help understanding that, because there's a lot of investment there. They're hoping that we would be able to decipher the ancient language and the Mohenjo-daro language. What do you say about it?
Please give an answer in 2 or 3 sentences, if you can.
Thank you, panelists. I would.
मैं आपका थैंक यू अदा करता हूँ, आप मेरा करें और फिर आप आइए इसे कहें कि इसका ट्रांसलेट करें। क्या वो इस लहजे को, आपकी मुस्कुराहट को, आपके एहसासात को और मेरे अंदाज़ को ट्रांसलेट कर सकेगा? नहीं। जैसे कि आपने सर ने कहा है, ये सारा काम लिंग्विस्टिक्स इंजीनियरिंग का है। तो हमारे यहाँ भी एक इदारा है भुरगड़ी इंजीनियरिंग लैंग्वेज का। ये अब मसला ये है, जैसे कि सर ने कहा कि हमें, आपने भी कहा कि हमें एक टीम बनानी चाहिए समझदार लोगों की, जो ज़बान की नज़ाकतों को, ज़बान की मोहब्बतों को और उसके एतबार को समझता हो, ताकि उस बॉडी के अंदर ये तराजम भी हों, मफाहिम भी हों, तब बात बनेगी। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
Thank you very much, sir. Now, please welcome Mr. Imtiaz Qazi, who is our Vice President, Administration.
मेरे ख्याल में बहुत बात हो चुकी है. I'm sure you people must be getting bored. So let me just conclude with many thanks to our experts. It was really a knowledge to know that AI has to do so much about for the languages. I was struck last year at Istanbul airport, and I was struck very badly. And I had no way to communicate with the staff because they would not understand English. So they had this, I think it was iPhone, cell phone, and they would ask me to speak in English, and then that got it translated into Turkish, and then this is how we communicated. I did not know that this is the doing of AI, frankly, but it was a great relief to communicate in this manner. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure, and thank you very much all the participants. I'm sure that we all learned, at least I did, at this age also. Thank you.
I request Mr. Imtiaz sir to please remain on the stage and give the token of appreciation to the panelist. Dr. Kareem Ahmed Khwaja, please come forward. Dr. Mazhar Ali, please come forward and receive your token of appreciation. Dr. Tafsir Ahmed, please come forward. Dr. Aftab Abro, please come forward, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, you may be seated, sir. That's it. We will now play a video message from our esteemed international speaker, Dr. 𝗂𝗍 𝗿𝗱 from Northwest University, South Africa.
Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow researchers. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with you today at the 3rd Global Conference on Research in Education and Social Sciences. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the conference organizers, as well as the colleagues who invited me for this opportunity to serve as keynote speaker. I want to mention Shaheed Zulfikar IBITU Institute of Science and Technology in Karachi, Pakistan, Dr. 𝗔𝗱𝗂𝗰𝗁𝗁, Dr. 𝗔𝗱𝗂𝗰𝗁𝗁, and my colleague, Dr. 𝗔𝗱𝗂𝗰𝗁𝗁. Your dedication to foster academic dialogue and innovation is fully and truly commendable. And I am grateful to be part of this esteemed gathering. As we come together to explore, share, and challenge ideas, we continue to push the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. Today, I'm excited to delve into a topic that is both timely and transformative: reimagining AI in higher education, navigating human-centric and sustainable digital transformation. This is an area that not only shapes our understanding of education and of technology, but also influences how we interact with the world around us. Let us embark on this conversation together, questioning, reflecting, and envisioning how AI can be leveraged to create a more inclusive, ethical, and sustainable future in higher education. I'm now going to stop sharing my camera and I will share my screen. Please bear with me. Imagining AI in higher education. Navigating human-centric and sustainable digital transformation. AI are machines performing cognitive functions that we typically associate with humans, including perceiving, reasoning, learning, and interacting with others. AI reshape our lives, like, for instance, vehicles, the cell phones that we use, stem cells. Then the technology and continuous change that we experience with AI. This is how the technology is continuing to change. Lecturers are doing activities that is desktop automation, and that leads then to a process taken over by robot, in other words, a robot-driven process, and this is now automation machinery, and then it's process automation. Then we get to machine learning, which is information-driven AI simulation of human intelligent processes by machines. This leads to artificial intelligence, which leads to increased effectiveness and efficiencies with decreased costs. Human-centered AI versus traditional AI in higher education institutions. The difference between the two. Human-centered AI prioritizes human needs, values, and capabilities. It still automates grading. In other words, we still do stuff by hand and also do stuff by automation, but it is designed with a focus on supporting the student's learning process. It provides personalized feedback. It identifies individual learning gaps and suggests tailored study materials. It is beyond grading. It considers emotional states such as detecting frustration in response patterns. In other words, if a student struggles to do the answers on a questionnaire, or do the answers in the exam, or to select questions, this system will pick it up. And it also caters for learning preferences. Traditional AI emphasizes task automation for efficiency. The system purely looks at the correctness of answers based on the predefined criteria. In other words, an answer can just be correct or wrong. Not like in human-centered AI, where it takes the human needs, the values, the priorities into recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Anna Marie. I will request Dr. Colvin Carolyn, who has joined us online, to share her thoughts.
Then the next one is the digital transformation in higher education institutions.
Good morning to everyone in Karachi. I guess it's afternoon for you. It is early morning in Iowa City, Iowa. We are in the Midwestern part of the United States, not the West, not the East, not the North, not the South. We're right in the center of the country. Thank you so much for allowing me to give this presentation. Active words in dangerous times, sustaining our belief in community, language, dialogue, and critical literacy pedagogies. I want to thank Professor Najim for the invitation, and most of all, I want to thank my colleague here at the University of Iowa, someone you know well, Saeed Hashimi. I know him as Usman. He's a terrific, wonderful student in our program. I know a little bit about Pakistan. I'd love to learn more. I think there are many shared commonalities that we have as educators in higher education. It's a difficult time to be in higher education and to be teaching. And so I want to talk to, can I?
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Dr. Colvin, go ahead, please. You're on the second slide.
Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about my work in rural Iowa. I identify as a community engaged scholar, and I'll talk more about that. I work with a town that is about 20 miles east of here that I call Easttown. It's a complex, transnational, multilingual rural site framed by differences of culture, identity, language, race, and class. It's been around for about 175 years in an agricultural community. About 62% of the residents speak a first language other than English, mostly Spanish, but Vietnamese, Lao, Cambodian, and other languages are spoken as immigrant families, and I use that word immigrant because that's often how they identify themselves, work at a meatpacking plant nearby. Next, on this slide that you see, the picture of the two women have just become U.S. citizens through a program that I facilitated with members of the community. It was exciting. We worked for about 3 years to help 150 people become U.S. citizens through the naturalization process. And importantly, they're able to vote now and have all the rights and privileges of native-born citizens. Next slide. My purposes in this conversation are to talk about active words in dangerous times and how unsettling they can be. I hope to encourage us all to sustain our belief in practices that brought us to teaching in higher education, recommit to the importance of language and linguistic justice, and understanding its power in our professional lives, the importance of dialogue and why it matters, searching for and connecting with community, and bolstering our practices with critical pedagogies. Next slide. So, in moments of, honestly, some despair, I returned to the work of Paulo Freire and Hilary Jenks, two people who were instrumental in my graduate school classes, and then later on, I became connected with Hilary Jenks. Pedagogy of the Oppressed is a critical book that inspires me to this day. And more recently, Hilary Jenks from South Africa, her book on language and power guides my work now. Thank you. Next slide. This is Hilary Jenks' language, talking about how she connects with Paulo Freire. In a perfect world in which social differences did not determine who gets access to resources and opportunity, we would still need critical literacy to help us read the texts that construct the politics of everyday life. In the actual world, where a 17-year-old boy sells one of his kidneys for an iPad, where rebel fighters video themselves mutilating and cannibalizing the body of an enemy soldier to post on YouTube, where imprisonment without trial and torture are condoned, where children are molested by adults they trust, where millions lack access to drinking water and sanitation. The list is endless. It is even more important that education enables young people to read both the word and the world critically, citing Paulo Freire. Next slide. So a little bit about the Freirean perspective that sustains me. He talks about banking education, a move from decolonization to language education, the importance of dialogue, and finally, problem-solving education. Next slide. Freire urges us to develop a critical historical understanding of where we've come from. It develops agency for our students and for ourselves. It affirms the history and knowledge of the oppressed. And importantly, it allows us to understand ways of knowing for the people we work with. Next slide. This This is one of the most important for me, and this picture in the image that you see is one of the graduate student tutors who works with me in Easttown in a tutoring program to tutor Spanish-speaking adults and a woman from Laos to learn English. This is one example of transforming the ways of knowing. We see our classes as a site for critical reflection. We try to engage with students not by teaching to them, but teaching with them. We've learned to listen to how important their stories are and build curriculum around what their needs are as they tell us. The knowledge we create in the tutoring program is co-created, localized, and relational, even if it is and because it is a transnational space. Knowledge and ways of knowing are critical to this program, and I'll talk more about that in the next slide. Next slide. This is the meatpacking plant where they work in rural Iowa. The dilemmas immigrant families face are many, and the local school system, the local community is really trying to address how to welcome these families and ensure they're part of the community. We attend to the adult students' social realities related to immigration, related to citizenship, related to supporting their students at school. We don't use a packaged curriculum. We develop curriculum on our own, and it's very individualized for each adult student who attends our program. I've come to learn the nebulous and immense arenas in which rural immigrant families are engaged in placemaking in rural Iowa, and it's been invaluable for me to learn. I'm going to talk to you about teaching elbow to elbow in the next slide, please, where we I think one of my pictures is missing here, where we teach elbow to elbow. We never stand with our community, with the adults in our literacy program. We sit elbow to elbow as a way of conveying that we're learning alongside them. One of the curriculum items that we did in the summer was to map our neighborhoods. So you can see us walking together with the kids who attend our program as we mapped our neighborhood and made sense of where people live, how they exist and thrive in this rural community, and get to know neighbors. Next slide. I want to move to Hilary Jenks, who, this is a powerful book. Jenks calls on educators to rename and to continue to interrogate our practices and our praxis as primary pathways to sustain ourselves professionally and personally, for our own revitalization. Next slide. Hilary Jenks defines critical literacy as what is involved in linguistic and lexical analysis for deconstructing texts in our world and redesigning them. Next slide. This is a poster that Hilary Jenks uses from the United Nations Center for Working with Refugees. So this is a poster I use where I ask my students to identify who is the refugee. And this was in partnership with the LEGO organization to understand how we see those among us who might be different. And the activity involves understanding that refugees and immigrants are all around us, contributing to a society, improving it, making it better. We learn in this process the role of language as a social practice, and we understand how we're influenced by text and discourse in maintaining, or importantly, transforming these orders of social practice. Next slide. These are my partners in the community engaged research that I do in rural Iowa. Importantly, the rural immigrant families who I seek to encourage having a voice. I encourage linguistic justice for them, where Spanish becomes as much a part of our environment as English is. I work closely with community stakeholders, the school district, local businesses, and faith-based groups to support the rural immigrant families, which are the majority population in this rural community. And I rely on the campus resources, often human. I take students with me to work with immigrant families in the rural community that's about 20 miles away. They serve as tutors for the adults, and in the process, learn more about immigration, refugee status, asylum, and the different forces that have encouraged families to leave their home countries and come to the U.S. Next slide. As community engaged scholars, this is what we've learned. Importantly, we've learned to listen to the people we work with. We've learned respect for their local knowledge that often transcends our academic knowledge. We have learned that change takes time. We have learned to persevere. We have learned inequities that render all of us invisible. And we have learned the importance of mutual aid and cooperation. We're better when we're working together. Together we have forged campaigns for citizenship. We're continuing that process. And now we launch a campaign for greater public participation by immigrant families in this rural community. I hope that this talk has brought you some sustenance and encouraged you to return to some of the scholars who influenced your original reasons for joining higher education, becoming teachers, and studying some of the inequities that exist in our world. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Carolyn. With that, we have come to the end of the first day of this conference. Dear all, kindly proceed outside for tea and socialization. Thank you. See you all tomorrow for our conference.